So Julius Malema faces a real prospect of going to jail and leaving his party leaderless because he misinterpreted the term militant. If Malema does end up being locked up, what does that mean for the EFF going forward? Will it continue as if nothing has happened? Will it grow even stronger as sympathy for him soars? Or will the party which he has shaped in his image collapse as those remaining behind fight over the steering wheel? In this episode, I unpack this and other related matters arising from the 5-year jail term imposed by Magistrate Toinette Olifere. Hello everyone, welcome back to Joe Talks Politics. I am your host, Joseph Musia. Let's get right into it. I have a suspicion that Julius Malema regrets never being a figure in the struggle for freedom. His utterances, his actions, his outlook on life all point to someone who wishes at a deep level that he had been around a decade or so earlier when South Africa was in the midst of the struggle against apartheid. That is why he formed an organization and called it Economic Freedom Fighters. And he calls himself Commander-in-Chief. I seriously suspect that this regret played a role in his decision that fateful day in July 2018 to grab a firearm and discharge it in public. He's like someone who is in desperate need for struggle credentials. And now he's contemplating his future and that of his party should his appeal of conviction and sentence fail. In the last episode I did about the DA and its inability to transform from a white party to a party for all South Africans, I was accused of using the race card. But the person who made the accusation should listen to this clip to understand what is the real meaning of the race card.
Magistrate Olifere is a racist of note. And she must know that in her sleep, that she's a racist and she's possibly a member of AfriForum.
Does Malema believe that a black magistrate would have let him go? And if he believed that the magistrate was indeed politically or racially biased, why did he not apply for her recusal? Why does her racism only come about after he is found guilty and sentenced? Now, I have my own opinion of the organization AfriForum. I do believe that they have made it their duty to pursue Malema for his political views or utterances. They were the people who laid criminal charges for his Kill the Boer chant. They are also the organization working with their friends in the United States and elsewhere to falsely accuse South Africa of committing genocide against Afrikaners. They were definitely pursuing their own political agenda in laying charges against Malema in this particular case. But as the magistrate explains, the case she was dealing with was a criminal one. Who brought it was completely irrelevant.
This court heard, as I've stated, plus minus 19 witnesses. Not a single witness testified before this court, testified regarding any political facts or that is not facts before court. The evidence or political agenda was raised by the accused, which is your right. But those are not facts as part of the state's case. And that's where it ends. A court of law and politics do not blend. The two do not collide. Judiciary stays in its lane. Politician stays in the lane. The easiest way to explain this is I think the minds of a jurist and the minds of a politician do not function on the same frequency at all. Hence, a court is expected to remain independent, dispense with justice without fear, favor, or prejudice, and that is the duty of this court. The rest is of no interest, only the law.
Julius Malema's claims of political bias are baseless. The illegal possession and discharge of a firearm were criminal offenses long before 2018. He handed AfriForum his scalp on a platter. Now, let's look at how this development is likely to impact Malema's party, the EFF. Someone else will have to emerge as the new leader, even if temporarily. This could lead to a serious instability and disruption. He will surely be doing preparatory work and trying to place trusted people in strategic areas. We should remember that the EFF has, to a large extent, been built around Malema's authority and political instincts. Removing him from the center of power, even temporarily, creates a vacuum that is not easily filled. Questions of succession, loyalty, and direction may begin to surface, particularly if there is no clear, uncontested second in command. Factional tensions, which are often kept in check by a dominant leader, could become more visible. And in a party where discipline and central control have been key to its identity, even a short period of uncertainty at the top could have ripple effects across its structures and public image. If the conviction and sentence are to be confirmed, Malema will cease to be a member of parliament. This means he will lose a crucial theater for his political stance, because few platforms amplify his confrontational style quite like the parliamentary chamber. And for a politician whose power is deeply tied to visibility, disruption, and spectacle, that's a significant blow. Someone will take charge of the party in parliament. And now he can ask Jacob Zuma how that is working for him. When courts are willing to apply the law to powerful individuals like Julius Malema, they affirm the democratic principle that no one is above the law. This in turn reinforces public confidence in the fairness and legitimacy of the justice system, showing that legal accountability is not reserved for the weak while the powerful operate with impunity. At the same time, this kind of judicial courage serves as a critical deterrent against the abuse of power. When political leaders know they can be held personally accountable, it raises the cost of unlawful behavior and helps entrench a culture where authority is constrained by law rather than shielded by influence. This strengthens democratic norms by making it clear that leadership comes with responsibility and that status offers no protection from legal consequences.
What is apparent then is that people of this country are speaking as one. Crime is reaching astronomical proportions, and the courts are required to do all in its power to combat the situation and to ensure that all would-be offenders or offenders who are still to be brought before justice faces the full arm of justice. And surely if this is not done or goes unchecked, as I've stated, it will result in the perception that crime is an inevitable consequence of life in South Africa. It must further be noted, as much as the rights of the accused has been emphasized, and correctly so, as it is enshrined in our Constitution, members of society do enjoy rights, the same rights as enshrined in our Constitution. These rights are not one-sided and enjoyed by all.
In conclusion, I need to remind the viewer that Malema is appealing his conviction and sentence. He could still end up not spending a day in jail. That is not a problem, nor does it indicate that the law is broken. It is just how our justice system works. Appeals exist precisely to correct possible errors made by lower courts, whether in how the law was applied, how evidence was assessed, or whether the sentence was appropriate. A higher court overturning or modifying a decision doesn't signal failure. It reflects a layered system of safeguards meant to protect fairness and prevent miscarriages of justice. I'm sure you have an opinion on this matter. Don't be shy. Post your views in the comments section. And if you enjoyed this episode, please like it and share it with all your contacts. That's all from me, Joseph Musia. See you on the next one.